Chapter 6. Test Day. Even though it was dark when the Sea Stallion landed, everyone from the liner came out to see. Cal had the ramp down and the twins rushed to get the two pods out to make space for the van to move. Then Mia got into the van control and after a time there were lights around the side of the vehicle and she was slowly backing it down the ramp, and then driving forward toward the store ship. "It's got lights so we can sell during the night," Kira yelled. The other thing Cal saw was the large letters painted on the back door. 01. The first van. I must have been too worried to notice before. The twins soon had the side door open and were showing how they could sell from it. The interior of the van bright and the hollow sign above working now the side doors were open, its image captivating, and the tinkling music loud in the still of the night. "Hard to hide in that," Orbis said. "You going to try it out tomorrow?" "We need to know," Cal said, watching the twins helping the smaller children get into the van with Mia sitting in the driving seat still. "It's all right to have doubts inside, who in business hasn't? But to everyone else, you need to project certainty." Orbis was almost whispering. "Say it loud and say it often enough and success will have to find you." "I know you're right," Cal said. "We're so close, yet sometimes it feels so unreal. Treat it as a game. You have the right game pieces now. All that's left is to place them on the board and make the pieces run. People's lives are at stake. So go out and win the game. I know you can do that, and your women know it too. We all know. How about we all have an early night ready for an early morning, then we can prepare some sample bags and try getting this van to the city and make the first sales of this new business." "That's the way, lad," Orbis said. "That's the man they need to hear." When Cal said early, he didn't really mean middle of the night early, but all the inhabitants of the liner were making for the shop ship, ready for work. Agatha had taken charge, a screen on her hand and telling people what of the bulk boxes she wanted on the packing benches. "We've already got a box of these out," Kira said holding a box of hand fruit. "That's because we're putting more than one of them in the pack," Agatha said. "We're setting it out so we only need to grab one piece from each box to make a pack. If the pack needs 3 berries, then we have 3 boxes." "We should have thought of that," Kira said, her hands still covered with orange spots. "It makes it so simple." With the stock positioned to Agatha's satisfaction, most stood ready, an empty bag in hand, and walked along the line of boxes, taking one item from each and putting it in the bag. A bag closer was last, and the completed bag was placed in a crate and the process repeated. "Are we counting?" Cal asked as he was waiting to do his second run. 11, Agatha said. "I thought maybe 50 to begin." They stopped at 53, the stock ready, and it was still not even daylight outside. "For this test trip, Jeff and my crew will run the van today," Cal said. "We'll load the stock," Kira said. "Price lists for a couple of diners too," Cal said to Agatha. "We need to program the terminal still," Agatha said. "It will be on there in a few minutes." "We'll help," Kira said. "We know how to fix terminals." "We don't want the screen covered with monsters," Cal said, the twins snickering. With the stock secured in the van, all attention turned to the van terminal screen. Far too many helpers didn't make things go any faster, so Cal spent time lowering the ship ramp ready for an eventual departure. There was a hint of daylight over the horizon before the work was finally declared complete, and it was Mia's turn to do her thing and drive the van into the Sea Stallion's hold. People calling out good luck, and they were ready to lift off. They landed at the bazaar, and the rush was on to unload and make distance. Cal was last as he had to secure the ramp, so he was sitting on one end seat with Jeff in the middle and the twins in the back. "That same diner?" Mia asked as they began moving. "I remember the way." Both Jeff and the twins had not been to the city around the bazaar, so they were busy looking and offering their opinions of what they were seeing. "More traffic than around the mines," Jeff said. "You think you can handle it?" Cal asked. "Agatha's husband has a license too." "We'll get used to it, I suppose." "That guide screen is handy." "You can drive on auto," Mia said. but I prefer manual. I don't like some machine telling me where I'm going. I'm with you on that, Jeff said. They were only halfway to their destination when Jeff first said, "Long way." "Got to find closer landing places," Cal said. "It will come in time." "How about we park halfway between those two diners," Cal said when they were in the area he'd lived before. "I'll try both for wholesale while we try to sell." "Maybe I'll turn around so we're facing away from those businesses," Mia said. With the van finally still, the twins raced to open the side counter doors and immediately the holo sign activated and music filled the van. "We should have made the price lists for the side doors," Kira said. "We'll have to tell people for today," Kyra added. "And Mia can collect the credits." Cal and Jeff both got out the van while Mia joined the twins in positioning the stock and peering out the window for the non-existent customers. "2 packs for samples," Cal said, trying out being a customer. "You'll be wanting a discount, I assume," Mia said. "Maybe a cuddle when this is over," Cal said, at least getting a smile from the shop assistant. "Time to see our competition," Cal said as they were approaching Diner 1333. "At least the people remember me now." Reasonably busy inside the diner this time. Must be the early hour. Ethel was behind the small counter attending to a customer, while Cal waited back, a sample pack in hand. "I really didn't expect seeing you again," Ethel said when Cal and Jeff were front of the queue. "Got to try," Cal said. "This is Jeff, he's working with me too." Ethel was shaking her head a little. "And this is a free sample of what we are selling around town now." Cal held the pack forward, Ethel looking hard but not taking it. "We sell them for a credit each," Jeff said, making Ethel look up at him. "But for you, they are 10 for 7.5, Cal said. "I don't even know what half these are," Ethel said. "You doing bases too?" "Good quality bases on our price list, I'll send you a copy," Cal said, getting his terminal ready to transfer the data. "But we really wanted you to see these packs first. Put it out for sale and see how it goes. You got nothing to lose." There was now a customer waiting behind, so Cal turned to go. "Message us an order when you like." "Difficult lot," Jeff said as they walked along the sidewalk toward the next crossroad and next diner. "I'm even more certain now that they are only workers too, they really don't run these businesses. We'll see how this next one goes." Diner 1334 was right at the corner, and stepping inside, it was a copy of the last one. Same half-cleaned floor. Same worn benches. Same looking customers, and almost the same looking woman behind the counter. "What you like, love?" "To offer you a free sample of our new fruit packs," Cal said quickly, Jeff pushing the pack close. "We sell them for a credit each, but for other businesses like you, it's 10 for 7.5. At least the woman took the pack, turning it around and around. "It looks expensive. But we sell it cheap in bulk," Cal said, then quickly continued, "and we have all the bases too. Great prices for top quality brands. I can send a price list for you to study when you're not busy. Don't think our customers would want this." She was still turning the bag around. "They not used to fruit." "Maybe you can put it out for sale and see," Jeff said. "Nothing lost if it doesn't sell," Cal added. "And if it does, you can always order more, the price is on our list." At least Cal managed to transfer a price list before other customers were waiting. Walking back to the van, they could see people standing near looking up at the holo sign display. "I can see we got a problem," Jeff said. "But the samples were a good idea. I think we might have to give out a lot more samples," Cal said. "I should have known. Hand them out to the kids, that will get things rolling. Only have to do it once and they'll pester forever." "Tell me how I know." "It doesn't have to be whole packs either," Cal said, thinking. "We've got thousands of prickleberries." They were close enough to see 2 people standing in front of the side order window, so the men slowed to watch. It was a long wait, but the customers left with 1 pack. The men went to the order window to get the information. "Slow," Mia said. "I opened a pack to use as samples." They don't know most of these fruits, but they love them when they try them. We were talking about needing samples too, Cal said. Maybe we'll take a couple of packs and try to find the next diner in the other direction. We've been thinking too, Kira said excitedly. We need to change the sign to show more about the fruits. We are thinking of ideas, Kira said, a grin on her face. Can we try? Definitely try, Cal said. But Mia and me to approve first. A long walk and 2 more diners visited with nearly identical results, but at least they were getting samples and price lists in people's faces. Then back at the van, where 3 more packs had been sold. Do you want to try another spot? Cal asked Mia. Somewhere else while we try other diners. Just along this road a little, Mia said. Past 2 more crossroads. The diners seemed to be at every crossroad, and it was 5 more they visited. 5 diners that looked exactly like each other, the only difference the name board over the doorway. 5 more samples delivered and price lists given, and then time for the report from the women. Samples are the secret, Mia said. I've had the girls handing out samples and we've had 7 sales so far. You're doing better than us, Cal said. Stay or move? Move, Mia said. Past 4 more crossroads and back to the same process. This time Cal called a halt after they'd found 6 diners to try, and the women had sold 9 more packs. Back to base so we have time to change the sign and decide how we do samples. A quiet trip back to the ship and then the flight to their base. The noise came when they landed, with calls for a full telling of what had happened. We're going to design a new sign, Kira said before Cal could start. It's going to be more exciting, Kira added, both girls still grinning. Samples are the key, Mia said. These people haven't tried most of this produce before. Very hard to sell to the diners, Jeff said. But I think we can make it work in time. I'm very pleased with the results of our first trip, Cal said when he got a chance. While we were there it seemed an impossible task, but thinking on the way back here, I realized we had done very well in the time, and with what we had. Better signs will make a real difference. Having produce ready to hand out as samples works very well, but the biggest thing that makes it work are the people. A friendly face and a willingness to explain the products will build us a very large and secure business. It's our people that will give us the success we all dream. We have news for you too, Orbis said loudly when Cal had stopped. Agatha and her father. We got our first order from a diner, Agatha said. 1 box of base. That's good for a first order. Trouble is we don't have any, but I've been working out an order for you to approve. More bases and produce from Arak Web. I thought you might go there now and get it, and my father has work too. Agatha pointed to Mr. Slee. Cheap produce ordering I getting. Tomorrow I telling. Maybe van working you doing. Arak Web now, Cal said, looking at Mia. Home before dark. You'll have to go without us, Kira said. We have to improve that sign, Kira added. We've got the best ever ideas. Mia nodded a little, and Cal said, well we need to decide who is going out in the van tomorrow. Jeff to drive, he knows the way, and he can choose his crew. 3 in the front seat and children in the back if you like to. Over the next few days, you can all go out for a run to see the area and listen to the people to learn what we can do to improve even more. A rush to unload the van and load 2 new pods in their place, and the Sea Stallion back in the air, with only Cal and Mia on board. Arak Web was close, but still time to and from orbit added up. With a pod each, the pair went into the produce warehouse they had visited many times with other people's freight, and thanks to those previous visits, there was no issue with ordering freight for their own business. The only real issue was the long wait while their pod was loaded. At least they were back before dark. Just. Cal was pushing the full pod toward the shop with Jeff's wife telling him where she wanted it put. Over there, and I'll get the others to unpack and sort it. Orbis said I would be best being in charge of this shop. You don't mind, do you? He didn't mind really. At least things were being done. Then it was Mia coming up. Someone's been dismantling my van. It'll be those girls again. In the liner control room, I think, Jeff's wife said. Something about editing. We saw them filming and it made the kids laugh. If they've broken my van, Mia muttered. It was Cal's turn to follow Mia as she strode to the liner. The control room had plenty of onlookers while the twins were working controls on the main screen. It's nearly done, Agatha said, the twins turning to see what was happening. They're nearly finished the editing. Testing soon, Kira said. It'll show up best in the dark, Kyra added. We're going to work on the door signs next, Agatha said. All ready for tomorrow's run. It was indeed dark before the twins had the van all in one piece, and they were ready to unveil their work, with everyone standing around waiting for the show. I saw them filming, Orbis said. Should be good. Then the girls opened the side doors and the hollow sign came alive on the van roof, the image of dancing fruits and the tinkly music, and then the image turned into a purple monster moving around and over the music was a girl growling, followed by a voice saying, all monsters love eating purple hand fruit. They can't get enough. Then the image was of the twins stuffing their mouths with hand fruit, the juice dripping down their chins. And it tastes so good. Even better than eating a real monster. That image faded into that of fruit dancing around, and circling around over that was the words only one credit a pack. Next the scene was of the twins holding out prickleberries, and eating them one by one while the voice said, this is our most favorite ever fruit prickleberries. They're so good we have to hide them so no one else can get them. After another break and showing of the price banner, the scene turned to a hand holding a bunch of toy two-headed snakes of different colors. Even with all these two-headed snakes, we haven't got enough eyes to show the red eyes on this snake melon. Now the scene was of a large long snake melon held up, its red spots emphasized. These are so big we only eat them in slices, but even so there are plenty of eyes to scare you. This is our favorite way to eat snakes. It goes around again and again, Kira said. We didn't have time to do any more today, Kyra added. I think it's magnificent, Cal said. So much better than the plain show we had before. That's a great job in that little time. We'll sell out of those things now, Jeff said. It's really the sort of thing we needed. Better than me telling the same thing over and over, Mia said. But is my van really completely back together and working properly? Similar to yesterday, but not so early, everyone was up ready to make up the packs for sale. 100 this time, Agatha said, and we're not coming back until they're sold. As well as the ordered box of base, and a couple of extras in case, there was a box of loose fruit as samples. Clearly Agatha was on the van crew with Jeff and his 3 children. Wife's staying to play with the shop, he said to Cal. She's enjoying having something other than kids to boss. Mia even allowed Jeff to load the van onto the Stallion, but she was close offering plenty of suggestions. Then it was the trip to the bazaar, parking on the far edge to unload the van, then a hop closer to pick up 6 empty pods for the job Mr. Slee had arranged. Only 2 pickups for 400 credits, but it would help pay the loan if nothing else. All through that job, the only real discussion was worry about how the van was going, and the twins suggesting new ideas for things to put on the sign. The order delivered back to the bazaar and the ship hopped back to the edge of the landing area, there was little to do but wait. I've been thinking, Cal said. Thinking of a way to get other ships to come to our shop, and I remembered about that expensive place we went. Indigo Lake. Mia prompted. They had something that sent a message to our ship when we came close. That's the best ever idea, Kira said. Auto-responding message back coupled into a transponder, Kyra added. We should have thought of that. Well, can you do it? Cal asked. Give ships flying over a list of what we have for sale. And tell them it is free parking, Mia added. The girls were too busy muttering to each other to answer. Mia was shaking her head while Cal was smiling. I don't even mind if it has monsters on the screen. Even leaving the freight hold ramp down did not encourage the van to come any quicker, but when it did arrive it was full of very happy people. While Mia was trying to guide the loading, Jeff was competing to say they had no stock left. Then over the trip back to base, more details came out. Like the previous day, sales had been very slow to begin, but handing out samples helped, and as they were traveling over the same roads they had passed yesterday, people had been calling out at them to stop. The new sign worked well, Agatha said. People were asking for more of what was on the sign in the packs. I visited some more diners too, but the one we delivered that box to were very happy that we delivered so quick. Their usual delivery sometimes takes more than a week. The excitement continued back at the base. The van unloaded and all standing around for a full debriefing. "We're going to need more staff soon," Agatha said. "How do you want to handle it?" "Families from the area where we're working," Cal said. "They'll know the people and the area. We'll ask when we're around there." "I can do that," Jeff said. "You want them living here?" "Preference for young families," Cal said. "We'll need to get to meet them to check." "Jeff has a good eye for people," Orbis said. "I trust his judgment." "Well, since he's in charge of ground transport, I'll need to trust his judgment too," Cal said. "Have you chose your crew for tomorrow?" "Maybe my wife and Agatha's son. I can show him the way and about approaching the diners." "Something we need to decide before things get too busy," Cal said loud enough to have those who were turning away to look back. "We need to select one day of the week we don't work. One day we make for families and rest. If we set this up now, we can plan accordingly. I know it will be impossible to close a shop for a day, but the vans at least should have one day's rest. If we have more staff they can swap," Jeff said. "That would be the best. Maybe. But I'm thinking of making sure we still have the time to enjoy our life, and maybe it could be an opportunity for some to go shopping, or maybe we can go for an outing somewhere exciting." "We're used to just working," Orbis said. "Well, we can look again in the future," Cal said. The Stallion Book 2. The Base at Grand Bazaar. A Space Adventure. By Mystic Alchemist. Copyright 2024 Mystic Alchemist. All rights reserved. Written in Australian English. This book is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places and incidents are either a product of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual people living or dead, events or locales is purely coincidental. Cover and text written and assembled by hand without use of artificial intelligence.